Yeah, weather's been terrible, but I got the microphone here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. The wind shouldn't be a problem. The wind's died down pretty much. It's gorgeous here in Austin. Just going to get this live stream done. All right, let's check this out. Okay, Defiance funds for tomorrow. We got the profit boxes, we got the break evens, everything in. So this is what they did for tomorrow. Uh, we already know that today they lost 793,000, unfortunately. But for tomorrow, they sold the 51.75 strike. We'll call that 26 bucks. Makes the math easy. 26 less 51.75 is whatever it is. It's that number, 51.49. Anyway, so that's the break even. That's the number we're rooting for to be over on the SPX tomorrow. Max profit is 680,000. This month has not been great as far as earnings go. This, if it was successful tomorrow, it'd be still be 23 cents a share negative on the month. 53 cents distribution estimate, which is just 90% of the extrinsic. So that's the formula. It's nothing special. Uh, it's close some months and sometimes not so much. All right, let's check out triple QY. These guys, of course, they're coming off a $1.2 million loss, but for tomorrow, they sold 153 puts at the 18,100 level for, we're going to call that 120 bucks. All right. So we subtract 120 from the strike price. That's our break even. This trade is going for $1,000,008, 1.8. So we'll see. I mean, it'd be a 65 basis point winner, or it'd be worth 10 cents a share. It'd be a big trade. I mean, we'll see what happens. This is actually the least bad of the three Defiance short put funds. Let's just say this one's down the least amount on the month so far. What's IWMY down? IWMY is down 30 cents. Well, we aren't going to count SPY 2. Triple QI is down 2 cents, and JEPY, I think, is down further than that. JEPY's down 23 cents. Hasn't started off very good for any of the three of these. SPY did well today. Of course, it always does well. Tomorrow, its trades for tomorrow aren't posted yet. I'm trying to think about that. That may be because I don't make them till the morning. I forget when. In any event, as soon as they post, I will. As soon as they post, I'll update my SPY spreadsheet. But it's pretty steady. Let's look over here at TLT. This is a real zoomed in view of my sheet of my calculations for TRES. So, and this is a fun fund. This fund thrives on chaos and thrives on big things happening in the market, not just normal stuff happening all the time. Normal stuff happening all the time is what so-called short volatility funds profit off of and thrive off of. But this is a long volatility fund, so it profits off of chaos. Well, anyway, here's the chaos it's trying to profit off of. So these guys trade TLT options. So look at TLT. TLT is something that a lot of people don't look at every day. Anyway, TLT is pretty. I mean, it's pretty steady here in the low 90s. It's been in the low 90s for ever since I've been watching it, which is just since February, since this fund's been around. It popped up for a couple of days, and this fund could have made some money. It looks like, but for whatever reason, Jay said they had orders in, and their limit orders didn't get, so it didn't make money, and then it settled back in the valley of death. So whenever markets behave normal, in other words, and we're talking more as far as mean reversion, whenever it's not so much as an up or down, is, if it's more like when it's down, does everyone buy the dip because it's going to go back up? Is it a mean reverting market? And when it's up, does it go? That's the kind of information you're looking for in this market. And that's with TLT. Most markets are, with the way they work, is they're mean reverting like 90% of the time, except when they aren't. And when they aren't, that's when these funds which are long volatility, during those times, that's when they make money. Like if this would have kept going up here, up here. This is when we first started watching the fund, like 5 days in or something. It got way up here to 98. If we would have had one more up day, I think they would have made a huge profit with the TRES options. But as it were, we'll just pull up a chart of TRES just for. We should have pulled out. Next time I'll pull up a comparison. But yeah, has not been an auspicious. There's been an inauspicious beginning for these guys, to say the least. I mean, open at 20 and they're trading at 17.5 right now. They paid a few dividends and stuff, but still, anyway, not been a great time yet for TRES. But they're a long volatility fund. Like I say, long vol funds do well, in the 10 or 20% of the time when the rest of the market's doing terrible. So we'll see how these guys. Maybe tomorrow, maybe if the market keeps dropping. I mean, we can look at futures. What caused this whole thing is this chart right here, I believe. Right, and this was caused by that number at 730. So this is a tick up in interest rates, and prices are inverse, right? I think I'm terrible at bonds. I hate bonds, but so, and I believe TLT's trades in prices, or anyway. So of course it takes a hit. Anyway, we'll see if it keeps taking a hit tomorrow. So we'd probably look for interest rates to be way up overnight also. And it isn't so far, and they're stable so far. I just had this up, but here's a 24-hour chart of the 10-year. I mean, it's stable, but it also looks like a cup and handle breakout. Looks like it could also be a lot higher by the morning. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? I have no idea, but it's an interesting chart. Let's look at Bitcoin's chart. Speaking of an interesting chart. It's just been at a gigantic wedge. What was this? All right. It's just in a gigantic wedge. I was saying today that lots of times the first break from the wedge is the fake out, but looks like it's trying to break out on, above also again. I mean, I don't know. That's when you look at chart patterns, a lot's left to interpretation. Of course, I mean, it's subjective, of course. It's not objective enough for me. I usually like stuff that's more objective and less subjective, but it's fun to look at. All right. We'll look at the yield max funds real quick, and then we'll look at the buffer report. All right, so there's 4 yield max stocks. As far as I know, these guys just have 2 strikes right now, and both of the strikes are still in play. They haven't been violated yet, which is good. Which is good. Really, Tesla, considering, I mean, it looks like at least it stopped dropping. This kind of looks like a, I don't know, but to me, yeah, it looks like it's turning its momentum around. We'll see if it can sustain any momentum on the upside, though. Probably not. I mean, gosh darn it. Every time I think that it's turning this momentum around, I'm wrong. All right, NVIDIA. We'll check these guys out really quick. Okay. Tony, these funds have just all pulled back this week. None of the strikes are in trouble. Everything's cool. All we want for the next couple of days is these stocks to all, rally mildly, being great shape. What else do we check? Misty, Coinbase, do we check? Look at this end of the day chart action. I mean, that's what went on. I mean, did some announcement come out or something? I mean, all this is Bitcoin. So I guess we could look at Bitcoin futures, and they blew up right at the end of the day. What time did this happen? See, 11:30. Okay. Huh. Here's Bitcoin futures. 11:30s that they had a big, a big green bar also. Of course, they didn't break out of their Bollinger Bands until 2:30, until a few bars later. Then they pulled back, retested, and had a confirmation, pulled back, retested. In any event, that chart's looking really healthy. So maybe that break out of the wedge is the true break. Maybe Bitcoin is through pulling back, and we're going to break out of this wedging pattern. Or you could also call it you call lots of things. Maybe we're gonna break out of it on the upside. I don't know if any of you guys are leaving comments, but I'm going to check right now. In another place, there's 5 of you guys watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Okay, come on, start back. All right. No, it doesn't look like there's any questions yet, and that's cool. There's not a lot. We haven't talked about a lot of interesting stuff yet, so that's all good. All right. Let's look over here at the buffer report. We'll start here with the 1 day. I love this one just to start with, just to see how these perform on a 1 day basis. First of all, we have to look at the benchmark, which is the red line. And it looks like, in this case, we have 2 benchmarks on here, but the benchmarks were down either 87 basis points or 95 basis points, depending on if we're talking NASDAQ or SPY. Okay, but in any event, they're both down a little bit less than 1%. So let's see if all the funds did their job, and their job is to be down less, but especially on down days. And sure enough, I mean, QQQY was down way less. JEPY was down a little less. JEPQ was down a little less. SPY-T was down way less. Nice job, SPY-T. SFOL was down a little bit more. FEPI was down way less. FEPI had a lot of buffer. Good job, FEPI. FEPI has similar results to to triple QY. SPY-I looks fine. All these look good. JEPY looks great. It only caught about half the downside. I mean, that's what more could you ask for? Only they could, if they could ever just invent one of these that caught all the upside and half the downside. They have half the downside covered. These Defiance ones, they're good about half the downside. The daily options, that's what they do. They catch about half the downside. Now they recover super slow and they don't catch much upside, but they just need to invent a strategy or a fund that captures all the upside and only gets half the downside. And that'd almost be like free money, but that's probably why you can't do it, because it would violate the free money rules. All right. This is just the month of April. I didn't realize, but it has been bad for AMD also lately. But it's been good for TSLP, TSLY. Lately, it's been decent for MRNY. AMZP's done a fine job. Goop, boomer stocks. We talk about it all the time. Amazon's really more of a Gen Xer stock, but so's Google. Those are Gen X stocks. But ExxonMobil's boomer, if not before boomer, predates boomer. All right, so all right, so this is a good one to look at too. Here's the 30-day. Here's the 30-day, and you could see most of them are doing well. One's, you know, PayPay's even ahead. I decided I'm going to call it PayPay now, because PayPal, but PayPay because it's doing a good job. If it starts doing bad, I'll start calling it PP. But for right now, it's PayPay because that's what it's doing. But that's huge to be up 10% and more than its benchmark. I mean, that's over a 30-day time frame. So that's not just based on one big day. Although if these stocks had one big day in there, it can sure help the average out. And that may have been partially what happened, but in any event, I still think it's impressive over a longer period of time. But same thing, boomer stocks to the rescue, or actually extra stocks to the rescue. There's Google, which is Goop. XOMO, which boomer stock. I mean, there's Google again. But Disney, boomer stock for sure. You know, but Facebook, that's more of an extra stock, Gen Xer, or it's not really, that's a millennial stock, but it's closer. It's a millennial for sure. Zuckerberg's a millennial. Pi, but okay, PayPal's an example. Those are Xer stocks. Elon's the Xer. He's my age approximately. And those guys that invented that are in their 50s and 60s now. So anyway, so that's the Gen X company. That one and Microsoft, they're a little bit older than 50 or 60 Microsoft, but still, they really came to prominence in the late 80s and 90s, kind of when I came to prominence. All right. Let's see if any of you guys got any questions. No questions. That's fine. Like I say, we haven't really talked about a bunch of interesting stuff yet. I really don't have much interesting to talk about. I guess let's just go over the profit boxes one more time and see how they look. This is for tomorrow. So here's triple QI. And well, you can see today it was just not a good day. I mean, it just opened low and it just never came back. It just went straight sideways after that, but not a great day. But in any event, volatility is still very high. This profit box isn't quite as tall as that one. That's the one. That's probably one of the biggest ones we've had. This one was gigantic too. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how big that one was too. Or no, wait, that was triple Q. Well, that was 100. Yeah, 152 points. That's the record. That's the big daddy right there. Holy cow. Jiminy criminy. I forgot about that one. That would have been a $2.3 million winner, and we won that day. Holy cow. All right. Well, in any event, that's one of the things to make these so powerful. But yeah, so yesterday was a lot of premium, and we know why now, because today was a big down day. Well, tomorrow is also a lot of premium, not quite as much. It was about, I would say, 90% as much. All right. So let's check out JEPY. I'm so glad the wind finally died down. I finally made, I'm sorry, I made a lunch video, which with the lunch update, and I got rolling on Spy T. I made some good commentary on Spy T. Really like Spy T. But somebody wrote in the comments that the audio was no good. Probably the wind was in the microphone. I'll work on it. I'll work on it. I'm recording something on Spy T now. All right, but for this one, same thing. Pretty good sized profit box. You know, the height of it is not as much as yesterday's, and really not as much as like 5 days ago. That was a gigantic day. They were expecting something big to happen on this day, and whatever it was, and by big in a bad way. Big always means bad in the market. And whenever the profit boxes are wider, you know, that means they're pricing something bad in. And now it doesn't mean that something good can't happen. And this was a gigantic good day. It was the opposite bad. I wonder if today was just kind of the unwinding of that. I don't know if that was based on some news, or that was, I think, one of the Fed somebody made some positive, not hawkish, some dovish comments. Well, it's not important. And in any event, so there's our profit box for JEPY tomorrow. And just to reiterate, JEPY sold 262 options for 26 bucks. We're going to call it. We need to at least get 51.49 to break even. Max profit on the trade, 680,000. So we'll see. And that's what it looks like graphically. All right. So let's look over here at Russell. All right. Well, Russell, you know, I mean, my gosh, that was bad today. That was a bloodbath. That was a shit show. Worse than a bloodbath. And you know, I remarked that yesterday's there wasn't a lot of premium in advance. Well, for one thing, this profit box was weird. It was all extrinsic. They sold an out of the money option, slightly out of the money. That's where. But even forgetting about that, it wasn't that huge of a premium compared to the other days. In fact, it was less than this day. You know, I was always wondering, because compared to the other ones, NASDAQ and S&P, which is JEPY and triple QY, had gigantic. They sold their options for gigantic premiums, not these guys out. All right. Well, so let's review on these guys, make sure we got everything covered here. If you guys got any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll take a look right here before I sign off. Okay, so these guys sold 769 contracts at the 2035 strike price for 15.75. 2019 and a quarter's break even, right? Max profit's 1.2 million. That's a pretty healthy max profit they're going for. They've got that much other times too. So but it's still a pretty healthy goal. I mean, they got 1.4 million. Well, actually, they didn't. They went for 1.4 million and made 1.3 million about a week ago. And then about 3 weeks ago, they went for 1.5 million and got it. This fund's an amazing fund. Of course, it has amazing lows too. When it gets on a cold streak, it gets on a cold streak. I mean, it hasn't been doing great this month on earnings per share. IWMY, it was down 31 cents a share on the day 3 of the month, down 21 cents a share after that, then down 35 cents a share on day 5. I mean, it's going to be a tough month. And then just the day before yesterday, it was down 43 cents a share. So far, it's looking like a tough month. Now, the other side of that is, even on a tough trading month, they still capture extrinsic, and that's the portion they pay the dividends with. I know it seems kind of like shuffling money around. It does to me too. But anyway, it's how the game is played. So on SPY-T, yes, there wasn't any new trade from today. They didn't have tomorrow's trade on. Oh yeah, and I already thought, I don't know if they put it on until the morning or if they put it on tonight before they go home. Anyway, whenever they put it on, I'll let you guys know. We can absolutely take a look at it. Today they earned $15,000 premium because they sold the call spread was ridiculously expensive too. The thing is, when you sell the spread, both sides are expensive, so it's somewhat offsets. It's not. They look how much more they got for this call that they sell than they usually get. They usually get 9, 10, 12, 15 bucks, something. One time they got 20 and it was incredible. It looks like 1990. Okay. 36 bucks. That's stupidly high money that they got yesterday. Well, that's why, because there was a lot of volatility priced in the market, and sure enough, we got this big down move. But in any event, the one we had to buy to hedge it was more expensive too. So it cost 27. So the spread, the deal on the spread works out to be a pretty similar to any other day. Spreads don't really take advantage of that element of the decay that much. Well, when you sell a spread, you're just taking advantage. We're just hoping for the time to pass. We know that when the time passes, we'll make a certain amount. But as far as the actual theta decay, the theta decay that you buy cancels out the theta decay that you are short to a large degree. So in any event, it is what it is. So I don't have tomorrow's trades up yet. 51.25, but I will. As soon as well, we can look right now. I check the Defiance website all the time. Nope, those trades are still for the 10th. We need the ones for the 11th. Man, they might not make them till tomorrow. All right, well, let's check stock index futures. Oh yeah, I'm going to check. Okay, so I got some comments here. I appreciate the comments, guys. Okay, so it says, Max, would you be buying IWMY at all-time lows, just knowing it may be July before we get a rate cut? Yeah, I know it. I don't know. I'm always bad at timing. You know, I don't know. That's a good question. What do you guys think? Spy T, I mean, how could you go wrong? Okay, that's what I'm saying. They're coming out with, even if you want, I mean, I love IWMY, but how about this? They're coming out with a Russell version of just like Spy T, but for it'll probably be called RUT, RUTT, or IWMT. But I don't know when, but Jay was talking about it. But if I just like the compromise of getting some upside and not making as much money. But I mean, it's nice to get 60%, but having to reinvest 40% of it and really only getting 20%. But you can have another fund and it just pays 20 and you still get some upside. So I don't know, dude. It's probably about the same difference either way. I like the Spy T idea. I don't know on the IWMY. I don't know. Just if you have cash, just save it. And if we do have a pullback, maybe don't buy it now, but if we wait and if something bad does happen and we do get a pullback when everyone else is pissed, I mean, go ahead and pick up some shares for cheap. I mean, but yeah, the rate cut thing, that does complicate it because who knows, and wonder if it happens, then they change it. Well, it looks like we aren't going to get 3 rate cuts now. Maybe we're only going to get 2 or something. And then stocks go the other way for a while, and they say, "Oh no, I mean, we're probably way overextended, and when it does go the other way, it's probably going to be ugly as hell. So I'm not saying, I'm not just because I'm usually bullish. That means because I just believe in asset allocation and stuff. But yeah, it could probably get ugly in a hurry. I mean, but it's the election year, and I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot, but then there's black swans that could hit. Things you can't predict. I don't know. All right. So let's see, Charles. Let's see, QDT and XDT super low payout past week. Yeah, I don't really watch them that much, and I don't have anything against them. But I believe they do. It's just a remark I have, and I believe QDTE and XDTE does. They don't own the underlying or a synthetic, but they have exposure to the underlying synthetically through an in the money leap, for a year out. In any event, though, I bet they don't get perfect, Delta 1 exposure with that thing. I bet they get less than Delta 1. So I bet they have, and I bet that thing decays. So I bet it doesn't. I bet just on an efficiency of trading basis, it's just my opinion, and I haven't studied it. I have no idea in the world if I'm right, but I bet you just on a trading efficiency basis, because you're also fighting the decay from the synthetic element. When you do it the way YieldMax does it, you're buying a call and selling a put. The decay from one's offsetting the other. Just like we were talking about in the last example, but what's it called? The Greeks are offsetting each other. Well, the way that they're doing it, and I think it's a cool idea, but I just don't need weekly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a cool idea, but I don't get the thought of, they're gonna pay weekly, and so it can compound more and stuff. I mean, I guess it could in theory, but I don't know if it's worth the extra trouble. That's my opinion. So I didn't know that the payouts have been low. I really hadn't heard much. You know me. I study YieldMax Defiance curve, and so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I wish I could tell you what to do on IWMY, car guy. I don't know. These live streams are fun though. All right, guys. I appreciate the questions. It keeps the stream going a little bit longer. Hopefully make some good content. I'll be back in the morning, and we'll see where we open up about 8:30, 8:45 Central Time Zone. when the market opens, I'll probably do a live stream and we'll see where we're at. Okay, see if you guys are around. All right, guys. You have a good day.